So some people have been talking about trust, and so I did a series on trust a little while ago, but I was starting to think about it again. And the question came up, to trust somebody, do you have to like everything they do? Yeah? What do you think? To trust somebody, do you have to like everything they do? Do you have to agree with everything they do? Why not?
Not at all. No, I trust a lot of people, and we have occasional times when we don't have the same point of view.
Yeah, so you can still have friends and people that you have a very good relationship with, but you have different points of view on different things? Yeah?
If that was the criteria, I
Couldn't
can't
trust
think of
anybody.
So if the criteria were that to trust somebody I had to like everything they did, then we wouldn't trust anybody. Because our mind is always finding things that we don't like about other people. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's if I relate to the spiritual teacher, I take a spiritual teacher like in a high place. And if what I hear a question, that is difficult. Because I know I have a lot of ignorance and my mind don't understand everything. But that's where I will go in that non-trust and question.
Okay, so you're saying that regarding a spiritual teacher, if they say what kind of thing?
Like what about we were talking last night about the teacher will talk to a certain student in a certain way, will say certain things. The other student, it will be a different, totally different thing.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how come she act like that and not with me, and then I start to go in no trust.
Okay, so you're seeing an area where you start to spin downwards. With regard to a spiritual teacher, when you see that person acting one way with one person and acting another way with another person. So it would kind of depend how they were acting. I mean, if a teacher were doing something quite obviously unethical with one person and not with another person, then, you know, it would make you really think. But if the teacher says to one person, study this topic, and says to another person, study that topic, yeah, wait, we're the same involvement in the Dharma, why are we getting told to study different things? Or if the teacher says to one person, yeah, you can do it, you know, go right ahead, and that's fine, and says to another person, I want you to check with me before you do things, then, you know, the people aren't getting, you know, equal treatment. Yeah, and then your mind starts to have doubts.
Can I share my experience?
Well, we're on the video, sure.
The other day, a little while ago, Venerable Chuni was sharing something that, how you were talking to her about certain things, and it was hard for her to receive. My mind went to, hard for her to receive. Like, it was you know, sometimes like when you pedal to do good and you have to do good better, and, you know. So my mind went, well, you're lucky, you know, because she cares about you. And my mind went, she doesn't care about me because she doesn't say anything to me. That's where
Okay.
I went.
Okay, so that's what we were talking about yesterday, that you can see you're saying when Venerable Chuni was saying, recalled something where I was pushing her in some way, okay, and it was hard for her. Then you went into, she doesn't push me, so Venerable Chuni, she must care more about her than she does me, because she's pushing her and not me.
Well, I told her Venerable Chuni, she cares about you. She didn't care about you, you know? She cares about you.
Yeah.
So she pushed
And so meanwhile, Venerable Chuni's looking at you and saying, oh, she gives, you know, the teacher gives me such a hard time, but you, she always comes and pats on the back and says nice things to, so I'm the one who's getting the unequal treatment. Yeah, she likes you better than she likes me. She trusts you more than she trusts me. So you're both looking at each other being quite jealous. Thinking the other one has better treatment. That's a good example of delusion, isn't it? It's a good example of how the mind is totally unsatisfied and always relating everything to how it relates to me, and always I'm on the losing side. Somebody else has it better than me. Yeah? So, whose difficulty is this?
Yours.
Let me tell you, some days it feels that way. No matter what I do, somebody criticizes. I praise them, and they don't trust the praise. I criticize them, they don't trust the criticism. You know, it's like, what can you do? Okay? So this is something for us to look at ourselves, isn't it? I mean, these kinds of stories and examples make it very, very clear how, you know, our criteria for trusting somebody is very ambiguous at the best, and completely reified with ourselves as the loser in the worst. Yeah? So when this is the case, I mean, it's clearly our issue to work out, isn't it? Nobody else can, like, force us to trust somebody or force us to believe somebody else. Yeah? I mean, we have to look and see, change our perspective, change how we see things, and realize, you know, that the teacher's going to treat different people very differently because they're different people. And if you treat everybody the same way, it's not going to work. It's plain old not going to work. You know, it's like making everybody eat the same food all the time. It's not going to work. Some people get fat on it. Some people will die of starvation on it. You know, so we need variety, and within that variety, we don't have to like everything somebody does or approve of everything somebody does in order to trust them. You know, we have to give people space to do things their own way. I mean, many of the things my different teachers do, I would not do in that way. Yeah? But this is the way of doing things that makes sense to my teacher, or that feels good, or that they think is the best way to do things. I don't have to agree with it. You know, I came there to learn the Dharma. I didn't come there to rearrange my teacher's life so they become what I want them to be. You know, so that they do everything my way. I came there to learn the Dharma. Yeah. So I have to, like, withdraw my criticisms and judgments on a lot of things, simply because different people do things different ways. Yeah. And I think I told you before how, you know, Lama Yeshe especially, he would tell people, you know, the same problem, he would give them very different solutions or advice. And then one person would quote, well, Lama said this, and another person said, no, Lama said this. And he actually said both of them, even though they were quite different. And Ajahn Chah describes it as, if you're walking down the middle of, there's a very narrow path with cliffs on both sides. If there's one person who's walking too much to the right, he's going to go, stay left, stay left. If there's a person walking too much to the left, he's going to go, stay right, stay right. To someone who doesn't have the context, it sounds like he's giving opposite, contradictory advice, telling one to stay left, telling one to stay right. But when you have the context of those individual people walking down the road, then all the advice makes sense. Okay? So a lot of our judgments And when we see inconsistencies, how we get, about it, is because we don't have the context. Yeah? We're not seeing that different people need different things. Yeah? And we're just seeing one size fits all. So everybody should wear my size shoe. That's going to work real well, isn't it? Yeah. Everybody wears my size shoe. Most people are going to be tripping. Okay.